In a crowded Marine mess hall, an unnoticed woman walked in quietly, small, calm, invisible. No one knew her name. No one knew her past. But when a single cruel act pushed her too far, the truth she had buried for years rose like a storm, revealing a strength that would shake the entire base to its core. Let's go to the story. The lunch rush in the Marine Battalion mess hall was a storm, pure, unpolished chaos bursting at every seam. Boots slammed against the tile floor like synchronized hammers, trays clattered as Marines slammed them onto metal countertops, and voices bounced off steel rafters that had witnessed decades of arguments, jokes, drills, and exhausted silence. The smell of hot food mixed with sweat, machine oil, detergent, and the faint dust blowing in from the training fields made the air thick. People shouted orders, insults, greetings, complaints, just another loud, normal day. And because everything was so loud, nobody noticed the quiet woman who slipped in through the double doors. She moved like a whisper drowned in a hurricane. She carried a tray with a balance so perfect it looked unnatural. She breathed like a ghost sliding along the earth. Her name was Elise Vance. According to the roster, she was an administrative clerk. But nothing about her matched a clerk. Her posture was unnervingly straight, but not rigid. Her walk was calm, measured, intentional, as if she understood every inch of space around her, as if she had spent years learning to slip past danger without being seen. At 52, she was smaller than almost everyone in the room, yet somehow she moved with the presence of someone who didn't need to be tall to take up space. She blended in effortlessly. Too effortlessly. Like blending in was an art she had mastered. A group of Marines by the serving line spotted her and instantly smirked. Wait, before I continue, answer this in the comments. What would you do in this situation? Hey, who let the paper pusher in here? She lost. Admin building is that way, sweetheart. She probably types faster than she runs. Laughter rolled like a lazy wave across the room. Cheap humor. Cheap arrogance. Elise didn't react. She didn't flinch. She didn't speed up. She simply stepped into line, sliding into place with the efficiency of a shadow slipping behind a wall. Most would have snapped back. Most would have glared. Most would have shown something. She showed nothing. That, without anyone yet realizing, was their first warning. But Corporal Trent Maddox was the kind of Marine who only saw what he wanted to see. Big, loud, overflowing with ego, he lived for moments where he could shove someone smaller, weaker, quieter than him. It made him feel powerful. He saw her silence as weakness. He saw her calmness as a challenge. He stepped behind her, grin widening like a knife, carving a line across his face. Then he reached out and grabbed her hair. Not a playful tug. A yank. A violent pull meant to snap her head back. Only. Her head didn't move. Not even an inch. Maddox blinked. Confusion flickered in his eyes. He yanked harder. Her spine absorbed the force like steel anchored in concrete. Her tray didn't tip, didn't tremble, didn't so much as rattle. The mess hall laughter got louder. But beneath it, something subtle shifted. A tension. A question. A tiny vibration of unease. Slowly, Elise turned her head. Real viewers only. Comment yes or no. I want to see who's actually paying attention. Her face wasn't angry. Wasn't afraid. Wasn't shocked. It was still. Calm. Blank. A blankness more frightening than fury. The kind of blankness found in people who had seen violence so terrible, so raw, that everyday cruelty simply didn't register anymore. She looked at him with eyes that held no fear. No reaction. No interest. Just assessment. Maddox puffed his chest, trying to regain control. Come on, Clark, don't clog up my line. Gotta teach you how things work around here. Someone behind him muttered, damn, she didn't even move. Another whispered, is she even human? But before the murmurs spread, Maddox reached for her hair again, this time with his full arm, with frustration behind it, with the arrogance of someone who believed the universe revolved around his own strength. The moment his fingers touched her hair the second time, Elise exhaled, a soft, controlled breath. This is your final warning, Corporal. Her tone wasn't raised, wasn't emotional, just flat, clinical, cold, and somehow it chilled the air. Maddox scoffed. Oh yeah, or what? Gonna type an angry memo. He stepped forward and reached out. A shove meant to embarrass her, meant to send her stumbling across the tile. But his hand never touched her. Elise moved. Not fast. Not dramatically. Not like an action movie. Just precisely. Her left hand rose in a smooth arc, caught his wrist mid-extension, rotated it in a downward spiral of pressure. Crack. His wrist folded backward. His breath stopped. His knees buckled like cut rope. Quick challenge, describe this moment in one emoji. Let's see what you pick. Fire. He collapsed to the floor with a strangled gasp, shock ricocheting through his body. A few Marines swore under their breath. Someone whispered, Holy sh*T, what was that? Another murmured, that wasn't Marine training. Maddox clutched at his arm helplessly, humiliation burning in his eyes. Don't just stand there, he shouted weakly. Detain her. Two sergeants looked at each other, men who had survived deployments, firefights, real combat, yet both hesitated. But orders were orders. Sergeant 1 approached cautiously, hands raised. He reached for her arm. And that was the end of him. Elise didn't resist. She redirected. A simple shift of weight. A pivot of her heel. His grip slid past her, throwing his balance off. Before he regained it, Elise pressed 2 fingers into a pressure point behind his collarbone, an obscure, devastating spot that most Marines didn't even know existed. His entire arm went dead. Paralyzed. He dropped to his knees, gasping. Sergeant 2 panicked and charged her like a linebacker under fire. Elise stepped left, smooth as exhaling. He flew past, empty air. Her foot swept behind his knee, her hand guided his collar down. He slammed face first into the tile, immobilized in a perfect hold. 3 moves. 2 trained Marines, incapacitated. No strikes. No aggression. No wasted motion. The mess hall vibrated with stunned silence. Someone whispered near the juice machine, she moves like Spec Ops. Another replied, no, that's beyond Spec Ops. Maddox scrambled backward on the floor, panic strangling his voice. She attacked them, while you all saw it, detain her. Elise turned her head slightly. Just slightly. Documented provocation, unlawful physical escalation by hostile personnel, all violations noted. Her tone was so calm, so controlled, so eerily professional that a few Marines felt their stomach drop. She wasn't talking like a clerk. She was talking like someone who wrote reports that never saw daylight. Then something slipped from her collar. A metallic glint. Just a sliver. A private standing closest to her instinctively reached for it and pulled it forward. He froze. His fingers trembled. The mess hall nearly stopped breathing. It wasn't a regular badge. Not a dog tag. Not anything they should ever see. It was black. A black trident crossed with gold command stripes. A symbol whispered about only in special operator circles. A symbol belonging to Navy SEAL command officers who did not exist on paper. Someone gasped, oh my God, that seal command. Maddox's face turned the color of ashes. Elise took the insignia gently from the private's shaking hands. "You were never authorized to see that," she said quietly. Every phone in the room lowered instantly. Because filming a classified insignia wasn't just foolish. It was life-ruining. Before anyone could speak, a siren wailed overhead. Deep, pulsing, unfamiliar. Boots thundered in the hallway. 6 MPs stormed through the doors. Behind them, the battalion commander and the executive officer. The commander's eyes scanned the room, then landed on Elise. His stern expression melted into panic. He marched straight to her and saluted. Crisp, sharp, respectful, almost fearful. The room gasped. The commander spoke loudly, voice echoing. "Commander Elise Vance, Naval Special Warfare Commanding Officer, SEAL Operations Division 7. The air disappeared from the room. Maddox collapsed in defeat. The sergeants froze. Every Marine stood at attention, breathless. The commander continued. "Commander Vance has been operating under deep cover assignment to evaluate battalion discipline, leadership conduct, and integrity." Elise tapped her wrist device. A soft beep confirming everything was recorded. She spoke like a judge passing fate. "Corporal Maddox has failed integrity, discipline, and threat response criteria." MPs moved immediately. Maddox didn't fight. Couldn't fight. "Commander, ma'am, please. I didn't know it was a joke, please." His voice broke in front of everyone. The battalion commander stepped forward, fury shaking his voice. "Corporal Maddox, you are hereby removed from this unit, pending Article 15 proceedings for assault, insubordination, and conduct unbecoming of a Marine." Maddox was dragged away. His boots scraped the tile. His breath shook. His pride dissolved into dust. "I'm watching your comments right now. Tell me, should I continue the story or stop here?" Elise didn't watch him go. She lifted her wrist device and calmly began logging the official incident. But when she turned back to face the Marines, her eyes softened, not weak, but heavy with a burden none of them understood. She spoke quietly, but her words hit like thunder. "Most of you don't know what a SEAL commander does. No one dared move. I oversee Tier 1 and Tier 0 operations. Missions that never make the news. Missions where operators don't always come home." Several Marines swallowed thickly. "I have briefed parents who never got closure. I have handed over letters meant to be opened only if their writer didn't survive. I make decisions that determine whether 12 men return or none." Her voice trembled just once. "You mocked me for being small. You assumed silence meant weakness. But real warriors do not need validation. Real strength is quiet." The room was still enough to hear heartbeats. "You never know who you're standing beside," she finished softly. "So treat every Marine with respect." The mess hall remained frozen long after she walked out. Outside, the sun dipped low across the training fields. Recruits marched in the distance, their cadence fading into the wind. The same wind brushed Elise's hair. The hair Maddox had yanked with arrogance just hours earlier. She didn't fix it, didn't smooth it, didn't acknowledge it. Her power had never been in what they grabbed, only in what they never saw coming. Halfway across the open field, her secure device vibrated. She checked it. Activation order. 23 hours. Target classified. Priority level eclipse. The words glowed cold against the twilight. She slid the black and gold trident back beneath her collar. Then she walked into the dusk. Calm, silent, steady. A ghost returning to the shadows. A commander stepping back into war. A warrior no Marine in that mess hall would ever forget. Wait. Right now in the comments. One word. What did this story just make you feel? G.O. I'm reading every single one. 1 second pause. Type ghost if you got chills. Type respect if you're standing a little taller today. Do it now. Let's flood this comment section with American pride. Your turn. Comment fast.